What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a case study on two fights I had in 2025. We're going to specifically be looking at my nervous system and cognitive mismanagement, which led to technical errors. And these are things that you will not be able to see in the videos unless I actually commentate over them. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, showing you specifically what was going on in my mind, showing you the specific sympathetic nervous system spike at what moment, the reason why they happened, and how I'm going to be fixing these errors moving forward. So, fight number one is going to be my fight against Thomas from France. In this fight, I lost by KO because I saw that I hurt him and I went for the finish. I saw that the leg kicks were really hurting him just based off of his facial expressions and his body language. And what I did is, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I pointed at his leg. I was like, I hurt you. I'm going to get you. That was what was going on through my mind. And it actually led to me getting knocked out. Okay, so let's take a look at it. You look at that. Look at how he's moving like that. Boom, and then there's the cross. The second fight that we're going to be looking at is against Sarayut from Thailand, and I won this fight on points. This is the last round, and there's a very specific moment here that I'd like to share. So I threw an elbow there, left elbow. Then here he goes, right elbow. So what happened in my KO loss was not a technical error first. It was a cognitive nervous system sequencing error that produced the technical mistake. So you can't see it in the video. I don't know why. It's very strange. But there was a moment where after I hit him with a couple leg kicks, I ended up pointing at his leg. And what went through my mind, the body language that I was portraying to him, to Thomas, was, "You're hurt. I'm going to get you." Internally, I moved from "I am here, I'm applying cost" to "I'm going to get you." And that single shift matters enormously. Why? Because the second sequence projects into the future, implies outcome certainty, activates urgency, going for the finish, and it narrowed my perception, which is so true. Even physically, I remember being very tunnel visioned there. I remember going into like much more primitive state of mind. And it's so funny because my teammate Joseph Gorbani was like, something changed in he was like, something changed in me, like the look in my eyes changed. Like I became a fucking reptilian animal, bro. Like there was no thinking anymore. Okay, so this was a sympathetic spike, quiet but decisive. What pointing actually did, whether Thomas saw it or not, is irrelevant. The pointing gesture tells you something. I have identified the finish. The moment you identify a finish explicitly, three things happen neurologically. Number one, time compresses. This is so important, dude. I stopped tracking micro variables like my opponent's hands, my stance, my breathing. Threat assessment collapses. I was so into like the finish that my brain completely didn't see that there was any potential danger, right? Pattern lock occurs. I commit to a single solution. Dude, how many leg kicks did I throw in that video? Maybe like fucking I don't know, six? This is called attention tunneling, and it's one of the most common precursors to knockout. Why the cross landed clean? From your description, this is a key sequence. You landed multiple successful leg kicks. You interpret his pain as imminent collapse. You repeat the same attack. You stop reading his hands. He throws a simple, high probability cross. You don't see it. That means that your visual and cognitive bandwidth was already gone before the punch was thrown, which is so true. So the knockout was at the end of the air chain, not the start. Let's compare this to the other fight with Sarayut. We need to give some context here because I gave no context for the Sarayut. So it's the elbows. There was a specific moment where he threw two flying elbows very aggressively, and you don't see it in the video, but when I because it's like a series of elbows that's being thrown, right? So I threw a couple elbows at him, and that pissed him off. And I remember that he grunted, and that he was just like, which led him to retaliate with those flying elbows, right? And I basically noticed like a surge in his adrenaline, like a really short term power surge. And my instinct was like, I cannot I cannot keep engaging with him while he's in the States because even though it's maybe a lower accuracy way of throwing shots, if I get hit by this flying elbow, that's not going to be good for me. So I actually ended up disengaging a little bit in that moment, right? So in Cyrus' moment, I trigger his emotional I trigger his emotional spike by throwing an elbow at him. He comes back with flying elbows, so I detect danger, I disengage, I survive, and end up winning the fight. Whereas in the Thomas moment, I detect the damage, I emotionally, this is the key word, emotionally commit to the finish, which narrows my behavior and I get knocked out. Something I do well is I'm able to read the opponent. So I actually gotta give myself a little bit of credit here is that I read the opponent quite well. I'm able to analyze the situation quite well. But the way I frame and react to my read is different in both of those fights and needs work. I need to change how I frame this internally. Yeah, there we go. So as I said, the issue is not awareness, it's what I do with the information. That's my problem, right? Hidden rule you violated. Every elite fighter learns this. Damage does not authorize urgency. God damn, is that important, bro? Just because I heard him doesn't mean I need to rush. Pain signals are data, not permission. The moment you treat damage as a green light to accelerate, you pay for it with perception. Elite fighters do the opposite. They move. The more hurt the opponent looks, the slower their internal tempo becomes. This is extremely unintuitive and extremely important. What your nervous system did in round 5, let's name it cleanly. I entered gold completion mode, which increased dopamine, reduced threat sensitivity, rewards repetition, and penalizes variability. AKA, I went for like 5 leg kicks, 6 leg kicks instead of going up top, bro. His hands were so low, I could have gotten him with another leg kick because with Thomas, I did knock him down with a head kick and gave him an 8 count at the beginning of the fight. It feels like clarity, but it's actually cognitive narrowing. That's why I didn't see the cross. Correct internal dialogue in that exact moment. Here is the replacement script, word for word. When I see pain, I need to say, good, stay wide. Not, he's done. This is it. Finish now. Stay wide means the peripheral vision needs to be open, bro. I cannot turn into a reptile when I see that my opponent gets hurt. I need to recheck my hands, whether it's the opponent's hands or my own hands up, my own guard. I need to vary the rhythm. Dude, those were all blah, 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 blah. Like, that was just a bit sloppy with how I executed those kicks. I needed to change the rhythm, maybe add a fake in there, maybe add a feint, maintain defense. Yeah. So let's come up with a more concise conclusion here. So here's the thing that when I step back and look at both of these fights together, here's what comes up. With the Sarah Youth fight, I triggered his adrenaline spike. So my elbows made him angry. He let out a grunt. and he threw those flying elbows. And so when I noticed it, I saw the surge in him, and it made me back off. I disengaged because I saw the threat of him being in this high adrenaline state, which maybe wasn't very accurate, but could hurt me if he did land his shot. And then I came back when the moment was right. So that's a fight where I read the opponent and framed my actions correctly. Now, with the Thomas fight, I had the same level of awareness. I saw his body language. I saw that I hurt his leg. But this time, I mentally finished before my body followed. So I actually rushed in, got tunnel vision, and my nervous system went into goal completion mode. And then, boom, that's when he hit me with that cross, which I didn't see coming, and the fight was already over internally before it even ended physically. The lesson here is really simple, but absolutely massive for me. It's that damage is data and not permission. Just because you see your opponent hurt doesn't mean you need to accelerate or commit or assume the finish. I think a smarter move would be to slow down and widen your perception and let your body follow the brain, not the other way around. So from now on, like a more important protocol would be when I see pain, I don't just impulsively react and I say, good, now stay wide. Keep your peripheral vision open. Check your hands. Vary the rhythm. Maintain your defense. Let the fight unfold and let your nervous system stay flat. I hope this was useful for you guys. Um, this is a learning experience for me as much as it is for you, probably even more so for me than it is for you, the viewer. But I share this because perhaps this could lead to conversation. So do comment down below what your thoughts are on this if you've experienced something similar, and I look forward to chatting with you guys.